Hello, Lena. Thank you so much for coming and having a conversation with me today about the scar therapy program. I'm just going to pass over to you and you can introduce yourself.
Sure. All right. My name is Madelena Small, or Lena Small. Please call me Lena. I have been doing massage for about 20 years now, and you have to retrain every single year for something. And every year I always pick something that's really interesting that I've heard of and never really gotten the opportunity to study much of. And especially when I transferred from America here, I had to retrain all over again. They really didn't give me much in the lines of credit. So I went, okay, let me find stuff that I've never done before. So I did start training in the stuff that was just more interesting for me long-term. And so one of the things that I did study was myofascial therapy, which does delve into and touch on scars a bit. It's quite a bit different from what you guys have taught. One, they do teach about breaking up scar tissue as opposed to reintegration into the body. And I thought that was it was definitely a different mindset. So it's not necessarily as much, it is what you do that's different, but also the mindset that you bring in that makes it a lot different. So yeah, I thought that was actually quite cool. I thought it was interesting. And so, yeah, just all the years that I've had doing this actually brought a little bit, a different flavor, a different flair. And that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking for. It makes it very, very interesting. So, yes.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. And it's interesting how, again, I'm coming from another country to Australia as well, how we just don't give our previous experience and qualifications aren't given much hat tip really when we move here. It's a bit sad for us. Yeah, we have to almost completely retrain, which is, yeah, I can relate to that.
It's a little bit frustrating in that I did have a couple of teachers that really did take my previous experience into account, and other teachers that still treated me like I was a base novice, even though they had fewer years of experience than I did. And I was actually teaching them. No pressure.
Yeah. So tell us, where are you located and who are your clients? Who do you like to serve?
I am located out of basically the Bella Vista, Castle Hill area. And so people come in to see me, lots of business people come in to see me, but a lot of people they're looking for some type of pain relief. So usually the people in it's a slightly higher demographic, so to speak. So they're just looking for somebody in the area that, one, is capable of doing the job and have been doing it for a long time. I've had a number of people look for me, and merely because of what I have on my website, I didn't think it was much different than what others have on theirs. But they have found me and gone, you look like you have a lot of years of experience. What is it that you bring? And I'm like, well, most of my referrals are literally referrals. I don't put myself up there I'm not selling myself necessarily online. I put myself there so that they can find me, and then people send me word of mouth. So if they think I'm crap, of course, they're going to move on to the next, like most. But most of my client base is all referral. So that makes it a lot easier on me. I don't have to do much in the lines of advertising. They're doing it for me. I like the people that come through my door and they go, I ache, I hurt. How can you help me? Get on the table, let's see. And when they walk out the door, even though sometimes it really is painful, even with light pressure, depending on what you're doing, they go, who are you and where have you been all my life? So yeah, that's what I like. I like watching people walk in the door in misery and then walk out going, I feel 100% better. Here's my credit card. So yeah, and in a number of cases, a lot of people have actually become really close clients So it's been very, very good. I like my work.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. It sounds like the people that you're getting have looked for people and been through a lot in their, let's just call it chronic pain journey. And then they found you and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm never stopping coming to you. That's what it sounds like to me. They've kind of been everywhere, tried everything. Yeah. So tell me, how does scar therapy fit into that scenario, into your treatment world? How does that work for you?
So far, it's what I'm getting from what it is that I've learned from scars, like as you would when how I have been integrating it so far is usually when people don't realize they have a restriction, they don't realize that that's actually the cause of pain. And when that's again, that's my bread and butter. That is what helps as you start just reintegrating the scar into the body and allowing the tissues to move, the pain goes away. And then they go, you didn't do anything. Why is this any different from what anybody else has done? Well, I can't tell you what everybody else has done. I can only tell you what I do. But that's how it is again towards pain, not pain management as much as helping to heal them. And while that's not what I'm doing, it is literally them doing it. It makes it really, really cool. And once they can take control of what they are doing, how they are feeling, how their body is responding and reacting. That actually makes my job that much easier. And then I can just help them with the maintenance, and they're the ones that go through and take care of themselves. So yeah, that's what I like doing. It's more of the just integrate, the help everybody go through their life. And as they go through, I've had people come in from all walks, all ages. It actually makes it really cool because you get, I'll tell you what, sometimes the best things you learn are from the kids that come through your door. Whew. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
I haven't had too many kids with too many scars yet. So this is my experience needs to be lifted up a little bit, and that's cool. But that's what this was about. Now I can just begin looking for the clients that need the help.
Oh, you've no idea how wonderful it is to hear you speak about this, because it is actually the intention of my creation of this course, Lena, that people are, meaning clients, are given empowerment to heal so that they can safely be the hero of their own story, if you like.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I just help them facilitate that. I help them find their space, their spot. And everybody has a slightly different spot, but that makes it, I like writing on the sidelines. And so because I like writing, I'm merely a watcher. And I love watching stories unfold from, I get some clients on my table, mostly the ladies, and I ask them if they have a family. And one of the things I ask is, how did you meet? And I let them tell me their story. And so it's kind of like the same thing. You put somebody on the table and let their body tell you the story. So I like watching things unfold, and I'm all for the long term. It takes sometimes a long time for things to happen, and that's okay. So yeah,
cool. That's so cool. And sometimes you have to get the stories of their scars, Lena, because every scar has a story to tell. It's amazing and slightly addictive, I must admit, and and fascinating as well.
It is. Sometimes it's very interesting how they got their scar, and other times it's, in one case that I've seen, it was kind of traumatic for her. So, and I've yet to get this particular young lady on my table, but she's slowly working her way through it still. And so she just hasn't been able to make time to, head down in uni for the moment. So yeah, this will be fun. This will be cool.
And the other thing that I hear in this, I'll have to send you a little video that I did the other day, but for me, you are stepping into that sage kind of sphere where you bring wisdom to others and give them peace.
I would like to think it, but
No, you are.
I also don't want to overestimate what I bring. So,
I think you need to start believing that. I think you do. I'll send you my thing once it's all processed. You can have a look at that, because honestly, it's like, wow, things that you're saying, excuse me, things that you're saying are just illustrating exactly what I was saying the other day. And I was just like, oh, Lena, that's so cool.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so before, you've kind of touched on, why you chose to do the SCAR program. Were you interested in scars in particular before you decided to take this program, or?
I was interested more in what the fascia does and how, like I've studied a bit about it, but I was more interested in how you integrate, like as people have had injuries, how to restructure and help just reintegration of movement into the body, and what restrictions the fascia puts on them and how. Because again, every body is different, every story is different. And so what is after an injury, what's locked up where is not necessarily what's locked up on somebody else who's had the same injury. So it doesn't always make sense. But at the same time, it's kind of like being an investigator. You're looking and you're finding out why. And so I wasn't necessarily, I was interested in scars and how they did integrate how they functioned. But I didn't realize that they had, the effect as much or as such as I'm beginning to learn that they do on the fascia itself. So as I was going through this particular course with you and learning about that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So and my sister I was explaining to her this particular course. My sister is mega times the brainiac that I am. And she's like, so you break down scar tissue, you do this, do that. And I'm like, no. And I was actually using her shirt as an example. It's a plain shirt and she had a logo on her chest. And I went, well, think of it this way. If you were to cut out your logo and then sew it back on, your shirt's never going to look the same again. You can do things to cover it, but you're always going to see the pucker. You're always going to see this. What we do is, and I explained to her what it does and what happens. And she goes, oh, I suppose that makes sense. And so I already know we've had this conversation about 2 weeks ago, and knowing her, it's still ticking around the back of her head. And to her, that's like 3/4 of her cranium. So, so I already know she's going to come back at me with questions that make me go, I better look that up and answer that. So, and that's what I love, sharing comments and questions or things like this with the brainiacs, because they actually bring up questions that make me go, I better look into that because I don't know the answer. And so, no, I wasn't actually initially as interested in scars to start with, but to realize how it integrates into a lot of what it is that I do anyway. It made me go, I really better look into this more and see what it is that we can do with it. So yes, I didn't realize, but yeah, as I've had my last clients on the table for the last couple of weeks, I'm like, you got a scar there, how'd that happen? You got a scar there, how did that happen? And everything from a motorbike accident to I was just cutting something up and the knife slipped and it was blood gushing everywhere and it was trauma, or no. Yeah, there was a lot of blood. It didn't matter, just a little bit of tape and I was fine. So everybody just took everything so differently. So sorry.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. It's really cool. And yeah, I love that your interest has been kind of sparked or piqued or wetted or whatever the word is, and that it's just, it starts to get deeper and deeper and deeper, our knowledge around it, and you're like, oh, but what is this, and how does that, and this is how it starts, Lena.
No, we're jumping down the rabbit hole. We're only at the beginning.
Yeah. So you do think about scars differently now than
Yes, definitely. It's been very, very good. You will not hear a negative report on that. Sometimes, again, sometimes the stories you hear are, whew, wow. But I think that's what brings a little bit of flair and spice. It really does. So sadly, it almost feels like I'm living vicariously through my clients. But at the same time, there are some things I'm more than willing to let them go through and then just help them get through.
Absolutely. Yeah. For you, what was the most challenging part of the training?
I think because stupidly, I decided to do this just as we were going on a long trip. The most challenging part of it was allotting time and getting stable internet connections that would allow me to get in and actually watch my videos. So for those that haven't done this course yet, week 4 was absolutely smashing, but it was very intense. So do put the time in to do that. However, I think it was the most frustrating part was actually trying to get the stable internet connection that would allow me to watch the videos. Outside of that, it wasn't necessarily difficult to get clients, not at all. And even watching and learning via videos, learning via video was actually, I could see if you were a brand new therapist where it might present a little bit of a challenge because you're not really sure what you're doing. But anybody with more than 4 or 5 years experience is probably going to be a lot easier. So that wasn't necessarily as challenging. But if you're fairly new to massage therapy, I could see where it would be just a little bit of a challenge for them. So yeah, for me, it was more the stable internet connection and spend the time doing it.
Yeah, that's the time factor can be a challenge for a few people, which is why we try and get everyone to make the plan at the beginning, which, sometimes we're good at doing and following, and sometimes we're not. And life happens. You had this amazing international trip, trip of a lifetime.
Yes.
And still showed up to class from across, the globe. And so, yeah, hat off to you. That's dedication. It's really cool.
I was trying. So when the husband was able to say, I can do this and I can do this to make sure you get, yeah, but when it's the drive parts where you don't have that connection. It's like, oh, I can't, I'll have to do it later. And then thank you, by the way, for being really gracious and saying, we'll put it back just a little bit so you can finish up. So thank you. I really appreciated that.
You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. We're adult learners and we understand that life happens.
Yes.
So, and I also get the reward of seeing your gorgeous presentation. So, it's a little bit sneaky there. But okay. So you found learning the practical skill online doable?
Yes. Yeah. It was very doable. It just made me say, I need to get back to work so I can put this. My husband is pretty much scarless. So I'm like, what are you doing to me? Or what are you not doing with your life? And he goes, stop it, Lena. So yeah, very patient man. I'm not sure how he puts up with me some days. But yeah, I was gunning to get back to work, and I even called a couple of my clients and gone, "Can I get you on the table sooner than later?" And they're like, "Sure. When can I have? When will that happen?" I'll be back down in Oz in a couple of days. So it was actually quite good. So I
Awesome.
know it wasn't online. It wasn't as amazingly challenging as I kind of I assumed there was going to be a little bit of a challenge to it, but wasn't as challenging as I thought it would be. Your cameraman, and you did a very good job of making it so that you can actually see very well what was going on in the treatments. So yeah, it was very well done. Very well done. Bravo.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, so anything else that you would like to say that's important to you, Lena, about the program or the course, or anything you'd like to say to other therapists considering this?
Yes. With the way my brain works, I have to watch things a couple of times in order to make it sink in. Allot that into the time that you're putting into doing this, because you're going to go back and go, I need to watch that again. What was she doing there? No, I know I saw that, but let me try it again. So when you're doing the videos, try and watch it a couple of times. It really is worth the time it puts into watching. Yeah, and it does open up also different business opportunities, and it is a lot easier, and it is a lot easier and lighter on your body, especially when you've been doing remedial for as long as I have. It does open up a door to doing massage that is a slightly higher pay if you want it to be, and it is easier long term the more and more you do this. So I think I was going to try and integrate them into my normal massage practices, and with some of my clients I might, but I think I'm going to be keeping them separate so that it's specifically what someone comes in looking for, or they don't even realize they're looking for it. So yeah, very good, very good. You have the ability to do a new business opportunity, but also do watch the videos multiple times. It is worth it.
Good advice, good advice. And yeah, when I have done online learning myself, I can't stop watching the films. I watch them over and over, listen to them multiple times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really valuable. And yes, new business opportunity, a chance to increase your income and lengthen your career.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I don't know too many massage therapists have been doing remedial as long as I have. It's a very small list. But it is good to find therapists who have a nice long career, because they just find stuff that makes things easier, or shortcut things, or it's a lot of the times it's stuff that hasn't been taught in the classroom that you find and go, how is this working? But it's working. And so they're the ones that have usually gone through, and if they're switched on, they have figured out a rhythm and even figured out why things happen for themselves, because they go through and look and study, and even though it's not in books, they just draw a straight line themselves, which is actually it is valuable. So this is another in that long line that's valuable. And it's not necessarily a single blip. It's kind of like, oh, damn, now I have more to learn. I didn't realize there was that much more to learn, but yes, it is.
Yeah, it cracks me up. It cracks me up. I remember the first time that I had that epiphany of there's more to learn. I was on a course, maybe sort of 3 years in, and I had been very confident and very like, yes, I'm all over this. Yeah, that sort of stage, you know. Oh. And it was quite a sophisticated course about diaphragmatic breathing and massage and all the intercostals and all of this stuff, and how to fascially do things. And I was blown away on the course. And I said to my teacher, I said, oh my goodness, this course has told me I know nothing. And she
Yep.
was like, and she was like, the higher the mountain of knowledge, the wider the horizon of ignorance. And I was just like,
Right. I like it. I'm going to use that. I like it.
and it was just like, it was like a real moment. And I was just like, aha, got ya.
Yeah.
So I had been overly confident, a little bit arrogant, and humbled.
Yes. Yes. Every single time I think I'm just about to mount it, the universe goes, whoosh. I'm like,
it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift.
it does keep you going, well, I guess there's a little bit more to dig here and find. Keep going. So
Absolutely. So last question, would you recommend this course?
I have already recommended it to about 2 or 3 of my other massage therapist friends that have been doing this as long as I have. So they were asking for the link to find you, and I went, hang on a second, give me 5 minutes, I'll send it to you. So yes, I've already recommended it. And a couple of my chiropractic friends have also looked into it a little bit too. So I work predominantly with chiropractors, but they went, because I was doing the job in the workplace. And as I was transferring it from my phone to the computer, they went, hey, what did you do? And I went, interesting. They went, send me that link, please. So yes, I've already, I would recommend it, and I already have. So
thank you. That's great. Wonderful. I appreciate it.
Anytime.